Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy to take the proposals and you can tweak it to make it whatever you think's more efficient. I'm happy with that. But fundamentally, you're putting in a concrete bridge with the same amount of water to flow through, if not better, because then you'll have very little issues when you need water authority to you can't argue with that. Basically, you're making it better.
But the idea is to cast it on site. Is that right?
Well, these guys. So one option is you have a precast culvert, but actually we'll think that it'll be quite big and it'll be heavy. So these guys have said, well, actually, we'll take the design, but cast it on site and we'll tweak it.
It sounds like a good idea because the problem with precasting it, you've got these wires overhead. So that's what I brought a friend along of mine who's kind of half in the business. That was the first thing he said. Oh, blimey, look at that. So. It's obviously to allow the water flow, and there are a couple of points. You've probably got that.
Oh, I've looked at my bag on the other side. So I think so. It's as you would expect, sands and gravels underneath. So I think we've got the site investigation done, which has got a rough idea what's going on. Your walls up, and then you need a deck up there.
Yes.
To go across, and I think it's probably the balustrade height, if you like, can be finalised, but. As far as I understand, it's not finished. It's all concrete, so it can be a concrete finish.
Concrete face.
Yeah, I don't see. You're not going to see it. So, as far as I understand, we don't need to put a brickwork face on it. It's just got to work.
Okay.
Ultimately. But like I say, I'll go back up. You've got to. You see people walking over here now.
Yes.
I don't know if it's included. So you need to have some sort of temporary sort of gantry across to let people walk over. For these guys to go to their house, but also safely for people
and
to
that's
get through.
Just pedestrian.
Pedestrian only, yeah. While the work's going on, I think it's arranged that any traffic would be managed.
Okay.
So, I mean, a couple of questions that Martin asked is what would the expected life of the structure be, depending on what route you go down and what kind of guarantee that might have? Would it be the structure that you build? Will you have a kind of expectation of how long it would be useful for?
Definitely.
If it's concrete, if it's going to be concrete, it's difficult to put a warranty, but I think it's going to be 50 years.
That's pretty good.
Feel because once you've built it out of precast concrete and it's built correctly, it's not really going anywhere.
No.
I have got.
You've got that list.
I've got that list over there, but if you've got it on your phone.
Yeah, much more. And then the next thing you said, who will come up with the detailed design, and what are the design costs likely to be?
So we've just talked about this. So any formwork or temporary works would be these guys. In terms of, but any permanent design that's required, I guess, will be me.
Right.
And we'll need to work that through. So it's just working out exactly what's.
We've allowed for design in the formwork.
Yeah, it's either me or you've got your own engineer. I don't mind. I can.
But it'll have to be approved, obviously, guys.
Approved. So you could have your own engineer do it, and then I just maybe I just look at it from the client side to say I'm happy with that.
And just approve it all.
Theoretically, for a bridge, you should have a category it's almost like a category 2 check where somebody else just checks it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe that's the process, and I'm absolutely happy with that.
So he's saying, will DGH need to rely on the EPS survey? What does that mean?
EPS are the site investigation that's been done, so the ground investigation.
Right.
So EPS have done some window samples either side, and I think that should be sufficient enough because we're not piling or anything like that. We're just doing a mass concrete lump of concrete sitting on the ground. I'd have to remind myself what's in there, but there should be enough information in there to design the bridge for the bearing capacity on there.
Okay. And what insurance does the DGH have while on site? Public liability?
20 million.
20 million. Public liability?
Public liability. We've got all risks, contractors, liability, public indemnity, insurance.
Got the full lot?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, that's good because peace of mind, but also we might be asked for that.
I would imagine you would.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. And is the decision is to go for a culvert? I mean, cast on site. That's basically we've decided on that.
Yeah. Do you want our insurances over to you to pass through?
I think go to. Yeah, you could go probably to. Well, theoretically, it goes to Belinda and the client. Really, I mean, I don't particularly need to see them, but I think it wouldn't do any harm to send it through. I think.
So at some point we might need to explain to the council why we've gone for that option rather than the precast. So I don't know who would be responsible for
I think I can do it. That'll probably be between us, but I think
Yeah.
actually practicalities, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Craning anything in, there's a risk involved with the wires ahead, and
Mhm.
I think we need to be mindful of that and the trees.
Yeah.
That we're trying to keep this, and that's where you guys come in. So
Yeah, yeah.
this
I
is
don't
the
even think
sensible-
we get down the road, to be honest.
Yeah,
No.
it's quite tight access, isn't it?
And what happens if we find hidden services? I mean, was there any likelihood of being
There's probably
water
service-
lines or electric?
There'll be service. There should. I would imagine there's services in the deck. I think we've highlighted that.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'll have to be investigated, I guess. You
Through
have
the
to,
demolition.
before demolition,
During
find out
the
what they
Trial
are.
hole each side.
I would
we'll
do.
trace
You'd always
them and
dig a
follow them
trench.
through. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Expose
Oh,
them
okay.
before you go
Then
down
you
that.
might have to have some sort of you might have to have some sort of gantry or temporary to hold it there,
Mm-hmm.
or it depends what it is, I suppose.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
might be able to reroute something. I don't know, but
Okay. Yeah, so you do trial holes, well, that's good. And are we confident that culvert head walls won't be needed? There may be more water about in the future. So head walls meaning what a kind of...
so it'll be it's that bit there basically. So you have your culvert in there. It might need whether we need to have a
Like a buttress thing?
buttress there to
Yeah.
guide the water in. Whether that we might need to put on the final geometry. You see, so you're going to have a new bridge there. Do we just need to protect the banks? And actually, it's difficult because
The roots
Where
that
will you
side,
start
yeah.
and stop with it?
yeah, it's difficult. The roots are in the way. I think that might need to be a little bit suck it and see.
I think that'd have to be an afterthought once you build the bridge anyway. You come down and see it because you don't know exactly where you're going to come.
We can come up with a sort of principle, I suppose, but I think it's quite difficult here, for example, because of the roots.
Yeah.
I think you don't want to mess with the trees.
Yeah.
No,
Actually, the water flows. Which way is the water flows?
Yeah.
I
it
think
flows
it's
this way, doesn't it?
Yeah, this way.
yeah, this way.
Yeah, because I got the video. I'll have a look at it. Yeah, but it flows this way. Yeah, but the idea you don't want the water coming in and hitting a flat surface. It's better to
Yeah.
have some sort of chamfering.
You need to basically you're trying to guide the water through. Now,
Yeah.
we've had some very heavy rains in the last year or two,
Yeah.
and I've seen this not overflowing, but it does get quite high. But it's probably just making sure that we're not then creating areas where it starts to erode either side of the bridge.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think you build the bridge first, and then you can work out what
Exactly
you need
what
to do
we're
after that.
going to after.
Okay, only a few more. Submissions to both Audley and Essex County Council may lead to amendments to the detailed design. So, for the purpose of the application, it's probably best for Rupert to place his options 1 and 2 with DGH's option 3. Transfer his notes, and this document could then be both AE and ECC submissions rather than having to amend detailed design. That's a bit detailed, yeah.
Yeah, I think basically they've got to submit. You've got to submit your plans to the Audley end. I think I think I need to think about that because I think I'd almost rather just. Part of me says you just submit the design.
As
That
you
is
build
what's
them,
good.
yeah.
But if you start giving lots of options, I think you're opening yourself up a little bit to lots because they might say no, we want this, and then that causes everybody else lots of them. So I think
Sure, yeah.
I might have a chat with Martin
Yeah.
because I think we need to.
Give them a finalised thing and just hope they go for it rather than
Yeah,
options.
but I think the reason we're here is to discuss what's the most practical way to build it. And I
Yeah.
think that comes with the design. So I think we take everything on board and we're like, this is the solution,
Yeah.
personally. But I think, let me think about that one. And
Yeah, okay.
follow that up, but
Yeah.
maybe we have a chat with you.
Yeah.
We'll need to agree a safe dry season dates for the job. This is also important so that our tenants
Yeah, yeah.
and Audley End know what's happening. When can DGH start and how long will the work last? That's a big question.
We can start whenever.
Okay, so you've got a fairly flexible calendar.
Yeah.
And what are dry dates in the UK, remind me?
I mean, I think you probably want to avoid the winter months, if I'm honest, because I think unless you want to do any preparation work like trial holes, etc., to understand what you're doing beforehand. But I concern once you've started, you want to try and narrow your program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What would you
I
say
think
as a
you're gonna be up
window?
against it anyway.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think you're probably talking March, April, something from then.
What I would recommend is to build a sandbag bank there and the other side, and we'll just leave a Selwood pump there up the top. Anything that does come, a Selwood pump will be more than enough to keep everything going over.
It can be quite flow.
Them
Are
things
they big? Are
massive,
they?
Yeah,
Well,
they're big.
possibly, yeah.
That's what, because I think even if you do it in the summer, look, the
Look
rainfall
what
ahead,
happened,
you're going to
in
have to, I
August.
think,
I
put
think-
it in anyway.
I think if you guys had a plan that if it does, because it might rain. I mean, let's be
It's
honest.
going
Yeah.
to, yeah.
If you've got a plan that to solve that or to help to help control it, so you can, because what you don't want is you to start building and it rains for 6 months and then you
And it-
can't start.
that's
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
I think that would work.
Because I think even in here, you're going to have to bank off either side, because you need this dry. If you pour a slab and it rains, it comes
Yeah.
over it, it's going to ruin it.
Yeah, well, if you can,
So,
I don't know how you work out the flow and if your pump. might need to
I'll
be
show you a,
some-
a photo
Because then
of
they'll
a
have
video
the
of it
standards
last winter. You can get an
of
idea.
what size pump will do what
Well, we'll
flow.
come up with a program and a method.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we can send off what pumps, and if you just work out the flow of the river, we'll get a pump to match.
And is it best DGH hire the footbridge needed and manage installation? The cost needs adding.
Yeah.
So we need to give access for the.
for people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you just need to. It doesn't have to be. Just have to be. I'm always thinking of some sort of gantry thing. You know, like you know, get the pre-made, you know, prefabricated bridges, or maybe it's the scaffolding.
Oh,
I
thinking of
think
scaffold.
it's maybe a metre or 1200 wide scaffold that would have to bridge it, because even the gantry, it's quite tall when you actually look at it.
I mean, you need then to. I don't know how this works in terms of who owns what and how it works, where you
Yeah.
can put it, but it needs some sort because you want to be a little. You want to be away from this.
You
Don't
need
you?
Yeah.
parking space.
So you might have to come across
a good way away from this.
there and agree with them, or the other side. I
You
don't
have
know.
to look where it's best without
We'll
the
have a look
trees.
at that
yeah.
when we walk up.
So you
Yeah.
do a scaffold,
I'll
like
think
a,
of a scaffold.
yeah, okay. But just make
Right.
sure that can withstand any water if it does, even if your pump's there or they're not.
Well, what we'd do is we'd probably
Bridge over.
bridge it over it.
yeah, okay. There's the bridge then, isn't it?
There's a bridge, yeah. Yeah, there's a bridge. Yeah.
Okay.
Just use ladder beams and bridge over.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Who will obtain agreements covering parking and access through neighbouring land?
Well, I think that's probably a question for Belinda if she was here, 'cause
Right.
I don't know that, but I think there has been some initial inquiries on that, I believe,
Right.
because it's parking around here is, you know, it's a nightmare, but I don't know how it works, to be honest. You're going to have a site, a little site.
Yeah.
So you've got the football club here, but whether you
Yeah.
can park, I don't know. I just don't know.
And just going back to the question of how long the job will take, what do you think it is in terms of duration once you get stuck in?
I would say probably 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
3 months.
Two more. Is Rupert happy to head up collection and drafting of the info needed for Audley End and the council submissions with DGH input as necessary?
Yeah. So what I think there needs to be, I think my answer is yes, but I think you have to submit this to the various people. I think it's getting your proposals,
Mm-hmm.
maybe your comment. So you've already sort of done it, but it may need to just be expanded.
Yes.
And it may, or maybe that I play with it and I just make agreement with you guys. This is what we're going to do. I don't know yet. So there needs to be a submission that's very clear.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to do. But it needs. We can't really do that until we've got somebody on board to say this is what you want to do, because you know we've already talked about getting rid of the precast element. So you know, I think. So if you're on board, I think the answer is yes.
Yeah. I think the council are going to like the casting on site because it's anything that involves fiddling around with the wires. It's just more disruptive and
I agree.
more dangerous.
Asking for trouble.
I think you know you just need to. I think we've been through all the options. We've been through a few options on this, and I think that feels
Yeah.
less risky to me the more I look at it.
Last question. Please confirm the next moves, presumably HOTs, whatever that is. What is HOT?
Head of terms, is it?
HOTs. And then a contract to sign off. And most importantly, the who, what, and when of what's going to happen. What is HOT?
I think it'll be head of terms.
Sounds like it, yeah.
So I don't know.
Head of works, head of.
the terms,
Head of terms.
agreeing sort of
Oh yes,
T's
terms and
C's,
conditions. Yeah. So I mean,
Um,
what is the next? How do we sort of move this forward once you've got the design?
Well, I think that's a collective decision. I
Yeah.
think these guys need
We-
to sort of
we-
agree in principle. And then we need to-
Before we, in all fairness, at this stage, what we would need before we start putting detailed programs, RAMs together, we would need a commitment from the client.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Otherwise, we could end up doing all this work
yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Yeah. Fair enough.
you know,
And what does that commitment? How does that take form? Payment.
just a no
No?
payment. We don't want we won't ask
No?
for a deposit. no,
Okay.
No. We just need a letter of intent.
Sure, and a signed contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got through all the questions. We're going to have a look from the top.
Yeah, let's go if we can get back up again. But, there's
Oh,
quite-
let me show you the video because I think you will be
Yeah, I don't-
surprised with
you
the
might
map.
need a couple of. Well, you need power, wouldn't you? Or do you need
No,
generator?
they run off a generator.
Do they?
They're all one unit.
Yeah, I think we've got to be slightly careful because you need a generator going through the night.
It's silent.
Oh, sorry.
Are
Yeah,
they?
they're photos. I didn't
There's a
take a video,
photo, yeah.
unfortunately.
I mean, that's heavy. That's heavy rain. So it may be
So it's about to there.
This was January the
You
5th.
can sort of get a water line on it, can't you?
that January. So I think I personally think you should probably avoid the wet winter months and start looking at spring, if I'm honest, because yes, it rains in the spring and the summer, but hopefully less.
Fingers
But you can see it's all, it's up to here basically. That one is there. It's up to about there, yeah. And that was after it had died down a bit because the main big storm was at the beginning of January, and this was like the 5th.
Okay. Yeah, because it was pretty bad.
It's going to be a hell of a pump.
Pretty bad winter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably beginning of March starting.
So that'd be-
Yeah, I think it feels right to me because and then it's going to be pumps, but it's also keeping an eye on the forecast as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
If it looks like it's going to piss down for a couple of weeks, it may be I don't know. We'd have to
Play
work
it by
out.
ear.
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah.
I think you can work through small flow.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely, yeah.
If it's that high, I
mean,
think you're
to be
struggling.
fair, like Rob says, if we sandbagged it, once we've got the first foundation pour in, then we've got a solid base to work off there.
yeah.
If we bag off an area,
Because you once you've got the base in, and you could get the base and stuff. Once that's cured enough,
yeah,
then I think you're laughing really, because then you can sandbag each wall.
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
So I think the risky element for you guys is just getting the base in actually.
And that involves excavation. I mean,
It'll be
Will do, yeah.
Yeah.
but how much are you going to go down?
I think we'd have to.
It's on the plans.
It's on the plan. I think there's a section. I can't remember. I think it's.
I think I took it from the lowest level and brought it across, just so you don't want to be building up ground down here.
I might have said something. Did I say anything? I'd have to look at the. Oh, that's this guy's thing. You might be talking 500 mil.
Yeah,
or something.
it's-
Something like that. But it may be what you find as well.
Was it this one?
No, that's that one. Then this is mine. Here you go. So I've said 750.
750.
750 of compacted. Well, this is what I mean. Happy to
Yeah,
work out, but excavate out compacted hardcore in layers, and then you start casting your concrete on that. So actually, you're probably a metre down by the time you get back to the bed level.
yep.
But you may find as you go down. I mean, that's based on the site investigation, but you may find that it might be worse, it might be better.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
we'll have a look. But basically, what you're trying to do is spread that load from the walls back along
The base,
the
yeah.
base. So that base is the foundation, really. So,
Yeah.
we could chamfer.
Bottoms can be chamfered.
Chamfered, yeah, chamfered. So the water sort of keeps channeled to the middle. if that
Yeah.
makes-
And just generally, what's the finish up top? The concrete slab and some sort of side.
So yeah, I think that needs a little bit of. So as a minimum, you'll need a slab across the top, and you'll probably need a balustrade up. the
Balustrade, yeah.
side, which
It's
is
a
all in
public
situ.
walkway, yeah.
But then the actual finish, I think, needs a bit of. It could be dirt, crap, Or I don't think it needs to be tarmacked. We need to negotiate that a little bit and work out what the client wants.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be blacktop. I think it. We can go through some options.
Yeah,
It's the
okay.
most efficient.
But basically, it's probably a lot of walkers, so you want some
Walkers.
protection from falling over the side.
Yes, I think you're going to have to. I mean, whether the cheapest option is a concrete slab and you do a key
Metal
clamp, metal balustrade, I don't know. I mean, maybe, is that the cheapest way of doing it?
Key clamp would be the cheapest way.
It's not very pretty, but it works.
Yeah.
Concrete upstand is more robust.
But we'd still we'll have a 300-400 upstand there anyway on the
You'd have
major
to,
Nelway.
for the
Yeah, 'cause
finishes.
I've got concrete walls either side on the option 3,
Yeah.
because I thought if there's our wagons or anything going across, a concrete wall, if they do hit into it, it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
just helps it. But I think you obviously got services going over the top as well, so you need something to bed those in.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
But it's cars, a few houses, but then it's agricultural traffic, other people. So
And we've got an 8-ton get guarantee. That's another thing I mentioned. I missed that, but there was something about eight tons is is the load that we want on the.
I think it's more than that. I think where did that come from? Is that in the?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I saw it. It wasn't in this list. It must have been another one.
The bridge is. So at the moment it's 2 tons on this bridge.
Yeah.
I think a fire engine. So it's how far do you go with this? You've got, if one of those houses catches fire, you need to get a fire engine over there. I mean, yes, there might be ways of.
Yeah.
But a fire engine is, I think it's 8 or 12 tons. I forget now. But the agricultural traffic that goes over can be significant. I think if we're doing it out of in situ concrete, we can make it as strong as we want it to be. And to be honest, we'll probably design it more robustly than it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be a substantial concrete thing.
That's right. He said we'll need a guarantee covering the 8-ton limit, or minimum more than limit,
They'll come out in the calculations.
Yeah.
So the design
And-
will have a design load on
and a
it.
contract with DGH, which refers to the weight limits in Rupert's scoping documents.
Yeah.
So just you need to refer to that in the agreement.
I think whoever does the final design will take a they have to put a load on it anyway to
Yeah.
work out the design of it. So I think you just put on whatever load you want it to be, and that can make it work.
Yeah, then let's go make it 12 or make it more, because you never know what's going to be
Well,
needed in the future.
Yeah. And then yeah. But there you go. I think that's.
Super. Should
Have you got any questions? Or anything?
No.
No.
You just want the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what's happened? So what? I'm always reluctant to get rid of things, but obviously this has struggled a bit. This end. This. Whether it be the water or kids or whatever.
Probably a combination of the two, isn't it?
Bricks have been things have been starting to take out, and my concern's always been.
It's opening there now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Same level as the water as well.
within the 12. I think the 12 or 18 month period, it did seem to be getting worse, and that's it. You can't do it.
This corner here is completely gone.
Yeah, I mean this is.
That's kind of ready to.
This is ready to come off.
and what period is that? The wall, looking at the shape of the bricks, is it Victorian?
I think this has been added on.
Yeah, this looks a bit later.
This is
Not the
later.
thin bricks.
It probably is Victorian, I would think, when they started it. But I think there's been lots of changes and tweaks.
Yeah. Those are modern bricks.
Yeah, that's.
Modernish.
I
Nice
think
bricks.
Somebody's put that in, but it's not bedded in.
No.
There's no mortar in there.
Get the money for those bricks.
51 as well.
Right.
You know, you're not going to stop kids coming down there. It's just going to make it so much easier. Yeah, it's starting to come out here as well a little bit.
And that side's leaning, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it's gone.
So you need them strength of the arcs as well.
Yeah, so the water's coming down this way. So this is where, actually here it's a bit more practical to put the
Yeah.
the shoulders.
Well, I think one of the fundamental questions is finding the level. What is the level of the river bed now? Because it's obviously gone down. I feel like it's just sort of level.
Take an average between there and there.
Yeah, and I think you just take
Well,
it
this
through.
is higher anyway, so I'd say,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll just follow that through and level it down.
Eventually, it'll find its supplement.
Because I think if you leave the slab lower and then whatever this material is will wash over it and cover it, then that will be your new river bed.
yeah.
Which even if you put a ceramic or something that will protect the concrete as well for longer. Unless you're going to go with something like puddle clay or pond clay.
I think because it's dry.
Yeah, like you can see it's which is matched.
Would you be thinking of basically trying to emulate what the original structure with the shape, the funnel shape here on each side? Because you've got one on each side, or is that?
That's going to be something you have to look at.
I think so,
Once
because
the
you need
bridge
to
is
tie
built.
that. You need to tie that into the side of
Like
the
that one you won't be able to follow because you have to come forward with that. Because that's freezing as well.
trees in the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you go for wherever your culvert, you know, and you might have to do it. It doesn't have to be as high as that, I don't
No,
think.
but
But
even if you get some muck and batter it up around it to form it in, because like, a lot of this one is that size wide, you can see all the roots coming out the side.
it's
But
difficult.
does that need to be part of the same casting, so that it's all bonded together rather than adding it on later
You
on?
can have some starter bars coming out the side.
Yeah.
And then we can,
Connie bar or
yeah, we could. There can be do a detail, but I think. I don't know. Are these trees protected? Do you know? They're likely to be. I mean, that one probably isn't.
No, not that one.
So,
It's a sapling, isn't it?
um,
We'll find out about the
I'm
trees.
just wondering, I'm thinking aloud here, but you probably need to get, somebody needs to get rid of the saplings, and that possibly that tree as well is going to end up coming out. Whether that's part of your, you've got to make the site as easy as you can, really, but not the big trees, but the smaller trees will have to come out. I wouldn't take that out because it's on the back. But this one,
Yeah, them little ones.
possibly.
Yeah, that one I think could
I
come
think
out.
the rest of them you can't touch, even the ones on that side will look too big.
So yeah,
You're disrupting the ground if you start taking out their roots and everything like that.
the roots will be holding it
They'll all be
together.
intertwined. So.
Yeah, they'll be holding it all together.
Yeah.
I mean, fundamentally, this works as a river bed. I mean, it'll always be changing and evolving.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. That's where rivers are.
But I think you can see how the what's happened is it comes out, and actually the water's now concentrated in that corner,
yeah.
isn't it? And it's washed it away and it's gone round. So it's just doing
It's washed away
well.
that bank as well there.
Yeah, it has a bit, isn't it? But you're not. That is what it is.
Yeah.
So what's the next step?
I probably need to have a chat with Martin, I would think.
Right.
And then if he's then we'll go from there. If
Okay.
these guys they can't do anything until they've been told that the client's happy.
Yeah.
Finalised design.
Yeah, and then
And if you wanted to start costing for any of the works to the banks and that, so to do that as an addendum onto
Yeah.
the letter of intent.
if you just to confirm, have you got your own engineer that will do the design, and I check and I just review it from the client side?
We can get one, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got one that can do it.
The other way to do it, if you can't, is then AFP can do it, but maybe I don't do it, but somebody else in the company does it.
Yes,
and then
yeah.
you check
No, I
it.
think it's clearer if we do it and then
Yeah.
you can check it,
That's
and then it
fine.
just keeps it
Then I
tidy.
can-
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably cleaner because it might be a conflict of
Yeah.
interest. I don't know. But
Same
anyway,
company.
so yeah, fine. I'm happy. I think we're just keen to get the thing moving. Quite
Yeah,
frankly.
it's been a long time. No, we're excited to have you on board.
Yeah.
And you're obviously keen to do it, which is
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So are you in Saffron?
Cambridge, Fulbourne,
right.
Fulbourne,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and Martin, he's up somewhere else. He's
yeah. Martin is. God, he moves around a bit. I can't remember. He was in Wales. No, he's not. I can't remember exactly where he lives now. So somewhere out west.
Yeah. I thought he said Leicester or something. I don't know. He's always on Teams, so I haven't met him in person. I've only spoken to him
Yeah.
on the phone.
Oh, you've never met him?
Never met him in person, no. Have I escaped?
No,
he's a nice-
a real pleasure. Well, you'll. I'm sure we'll get together, crack a bottle of champagne once it's done.
Yes. Yeah. And Saffron Walden is it's a great town.
That's a lovely town.
There'll be because there'll be people walking past all the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
factor in you'll be talking to people quite a lot of the time with their dogs going, what's going on here? But
Yeah, so you'll be
some-
building bridges with the locals as well as across
Yeah,
the
yeah.
two
This
banks.
one.
And I think one factor just to bear in mind, they are our tenants,
Right.
so and they need to be kept happy in
Yeah.
terms of information and just minimising disruptions. So it's not easy because it's going to be disruption, but that makes a difference to us.
We'll have a constant communication with
Sure.
the tenants
Yeah.
anyway. We do that with any clients
Yeah.
we work with. It just helps.
Yeah. Exactly.
They
Makes
know
life
that-
easier for you as
Yeah,
well.
they know what's going on.
Yeah.
all right.
Terrific.
Good. Excellent. Well, we've got to get back up there now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Who's going first?